Though extinction of a particular species is often considered regrettable by wildlife conservation groups, extinction is often a natural part of life, with 99% of all species that have ever existed having gone extinct. That's not to say that we shouldn't make an effort to preserve endangered species, but nature has a habit of producing some creatures you're probably glad aren't around today. You're watching Top Trending, and today we're counting down our picks for the most terrifying extinct creatures that aren't all dinosaurs. Because let's be honest, as fearsome as the rulers of the Mesozoic era are, they tend to get a bit too much of the credit when it comes to this topic. Let's start off with something absolutely horrifying: the Pulmonoscorpius, a giant scorpion. At first glance, it might look like an average scorpion with the usual claws and stinger on the tail, but make no mistake, this creature, whose name translates as lung scorpion, was just under a meter long. Its fossils were discovered in Scotland in 1994 and was named by Andrew Jerram. The lung scorpion likely killed its prey through use of the venom in its tail, and also likely has good vision due to its abnormally large eyes. Though not particularly well known, it's made an appearance in Ark Survival Evolved and Prehistoric Park, and is probably best suited to there as opposed to being alive in the present day. For number 11, we have the Colentin, a genus of flightless predatory birds, more commonly known as terror birds. These are fairly recent when compared to some other entries on this list, having been around 15 million years ago in Argentina. With a skull that measured 28 inches in length, it had the largest head of any bird that we know of. The terror birds were incredibly large, reaching around the height of 10 feet, and would likely hunt by delivering tough, bone-shattering blows from its beak. Despite not a whole lot being known about the terror birds, the first skulls were discovered in 1999 near the village of Comayo in Argentina, and were only realized to be a part of a new genus several years after their discovery. At number 10, we have the Anthropleura, a type of prehistoric millipede that measured around 8.5 feet long. Similar to the Pulmonoscorpius, the Anthropleura gained its large size from the higher amount of partial oxygen pressure in the Earth's atmosphere at the time, because of the large terrestrial vertebrate predators on the planet. The Anthropleura is different from the other entries on this list due to it being the only exclusive herbivore, despite our earlier beliefs about them. We know that the millipede is an herbivore due to the lack of mouth parts preserved in the fossils. If it had been carnivorous, at least some would be present in the fossils. Still, the idea of a millipede measuring over 8 feet long is just unsettling, and definitely something I'm glad we don't have around today. For number 9, we have the Quetzalcoatlus. The Quetzalcoatlus is a genus of pterosaur and is one of the largest flying animals of all time. It comes from the same order as the pterodactyl, which might be surprising to some people given how well known the misconception that the pterodactyl is a dinosaur is, despite the animal not even sharing the same order as the dinosaur. Quetzalcoatlus fossils from 68 million years ago were first discovered in 1971 by one Douglas Lawson, and it was named as a species 4 years later. It's a terrifying creature, whose minimum wingspan is estimated to be around 36 to 39 feet, though earlier estimates placed this at being up to 68.9 feet. The weight estimates for the Quetzalcoatlus have been somewhat spotty, with earlier estimates pinning it down as low as 150 pounds, and more recent estimates bringing that estimate up to 550 pounds. At number 8 is the Thalattoarchon, one of the first marine predators of the Triassic era. It was first discovered in Nevada in 2010, the single skeleton consisting of a partial skull, vertebral column, hip bones, and part of its hind fins. Though the skeleton is incomplete, it has been determined that the Thalattoarchon had an elongated body, similar to that of other creatures. The distinguishing feature of the Thalattoarchon from other animals in its order is its large, thin teeth, unlike the smaller cone-shaped teeth that the rest of the animals in its order have. Though arguably not as fearsome as some of the other animals on this list, the Thalattoarchon was certainly an apex predator, 4.5 times larger than us, which I'm sure a lot of swimmers are thankful not to have to worry about today. Though with this giant beast only having been discovered a few years ago, it begs the question, how many more prehistoric creatures are there still left to find? At number 7, we have the Dunkleosteus, an arthropod fish that lived in the late Dinovian period that was one of the top predators of its time. The Dunkleosteus boasts an impressive size of 20 feet, and its armored exterior made it a slow yet powerful swimmer. Most fossils found of the Dunkleosteus are of its armored front end, and so most reconstructions rely on examples set by other anthodites, which would likely give us ideas as to what the Dunkleosteus would have looked like. The Dunkleosteus was one of the largest creatures of its era, around 370 million years ago, and possessed an incredibly powerful bite. It was able to concentrate a force of around 7,500 newtons at the blade edge in the largest species' mouths. Not only that, but the fish could also open its jaw in 1/50th of a second, creating a suction that would force surrounding prey into its mouth. Considering its size, it's a good thing that swimmers don't have to worry about this creature today. Number 6 on our list is Meganeura, giant arthropods, similar to dragonflies, that roamed the planet feeding on amphibians about 300 million years ago. They were one of the largest flying insects the Earth has ever seen, with giant wingspans of up to 25 inches. Meganeura were predatory, with their diet mainly consisting of other insects, and their fossils were first discovered in France in 1880. There have been multiple theories linked to how insects of the Carboniferous period were able to grow as large as the Meganeura, with a lack of predators and atmospheric density in relation to the insect's respiratory system both potentially being answers. Number 5 on our list is the Helicoprion, or the buzzsaw killer, a shark-like fish that lived in the Permian period around 290 million years ago, and is distinctly recognizable by its tooth whorl at the back of its jaw, a spirally arranged cluster of teeth that make this creature look like something out of Amnesia. One tooth whorl discovered in Idaho in 2011 measured 18 inches in length. Another tooth whorl discovered in the 1980s would place the animal's length at being around 33 feet, around the size of the largest great white shark captured. Because nearly all of the Helicoprion's fossils are teeth due to its body composition causing it to disintegrate once it begins to decay, not a whole lot is known about its appearance. Number 4 is the Fossilosaucus, a type of archosaur that lived in South America during the Triassic period. It measured around 30 feet, weighing a total of 3 tons on average, making it the biggest non-dinosaurian land carnivore ever, weighing more than the grizzly bear, polar bear, and Siberian tiger combined. The Fossilosaucus definitely would have been the apex predator of its ecosystem, though not nearly as much is known about it as other creatures from the same Triassic period. At number 3, we have the Megalodon species of shark, something you probably knew would make an appearance on this list. The Megalodon lived approximately 2.3 million years ago, and have gained a lot of cultural notoriety for being a shark with a similar build to the great white, only around 60 feet in length. You heard that right, 60. About as long as a bowling lane. If you thought the Dunkleosteus' powerful bite was impressive at 7,500 newtons, the Megalodon's bite could exert a force of around 20 times that, adapted for breaking bone. The Megalodon's teeth measured over 7 inches in slant length, the largest of any known shark species. An almost complete set of the Megalodon's teeth was recovered in 1989 in Saitama, Japan, and again later in the Yorktown Formations, a highly fossiliferous area of land in the United States. Because of these two discoveries, an accurate plan of the Megalodon's teeth was put together at the Museum of Natural History in 1996. The Megalodon's range is referred to as a cosmopolitan distribution, the term given to animals found throughout the world in relevant habitats, in waters ranging from 34 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or 1 to 24 degrees Celsius, which would make it a real risk for this creature to still be around today, as its very predatory nature put it in a good position for preying on a wide variety of species. It didn't die off until 2.3 million years ago, as previously mentioned, so it would have preyed on animals that are still around today, just thankfully not us. At number 2, we have Titanoboa, and fair warning, if you're afraid of snakes, this one might just be the worst on the list for you. Around 5 million years after the mass extinction event which caused the death of the dinosaurs, terrestrial life began to replenish itself on Earth, and one of the first genuses to pop up was the Titanoboa, a giant snake. Titanoboa was a genus of snake that used to live in present-day Colombia. This giant snake was over 40 feet in length and weighed 2,500 pounds. Because of its immense size, the snake would have found it difficult to move across land, so it mainly stuck to an aquatic environment, preying on fish and other aquatic creatures. You might assume from its name that the Titanoboa hunted like a boa constrictor would nowadays, but in reality its hunting style would have been quite similar to that of a crocodile, using its jaws in hunting. The Titanoboa would have lived in a very hot climate, as South America was a region that recovered fairly quickly from the cold climate caused by the dust from the meteor strike, and Colombia had an average temperature in the 90-degree Fahrenheit area, which is around the 30-degree Celsius area for people outside the US. And finally, the last entry on our list is the Liopleurodon, a genus of marine reptile that lived in the mid to late Jurassic period, 160 to 155 million years ago. The Liopleurodon first came into the mainstream eye whenever the BBC included it in their computer-animated documentary Walking with Dinosaurs, though this documentary contained an error that largely overestimated the size of the Liopleurodon body. Walking with Dinosaurs suggested that the creature might have been up to 80 feet long, though this was based on fragmentary remains. The Liopleurodon deservedly takes our #1 spot because of its impressive size of 20 to 30 feet, its wide jaw with rows of razor-sharp teeth, and its carnivorous nature. The fiercely territorial Liopleurodon would have used its nostrils to scan the water for potential prey to ambush, and use its 4 flippers, a common trait among all plesiosaurs, to propel its body toward that very prey. And that's our list. Did you agree? Disagree? Have any more suggestions for creatures we missed over the course of the video? Let us know in the comments section. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like the video, share with friends, and subscribe to Top Trending for more regular countdown videos such as this one.